Hey traders, Raghee here, and for this free video we are going to talk about the euro. Now whenever we're talking about FXE or even the 6E, what has to come first is the Euro US. Okay, so even if we're looking at the futures or the ETF, everything is going to be built off the touchstone market of currencies. Now this is not to say you need to be a Forex trader to do any of this, but you definitely want to focus on the main exchange rate for the currency pair. And by the way, FXE and the 6E, they are still trading the currency pair. It is still absolutely euro versus US dollar, even when you go the futures or stock route. All right, so one thing you'll notice is we're right back up to that 1250 level that we've shorted on before twice. That was a first, second short. This will likely be the third. Now, those of you that have been in the room know, my members know, that we were open to a short inside the wave, inside the 34 EMA wave, because we started to take on a little bit more of a trend, more consistent red grab candles. So I was open to fading the 112 area around 111.95, even right up into 112.20. So this isn't way beyond that at all, but it is higher, and it takes us back to what I would call an oversold fade. So in this area, because the volatility and because of one really important thing, let me take you on over to the, here we go, the economic calendar. Now, when you're looking at the economic calendar here, a couple things should definitely get your attention, and that is these two gentlemen that are listed on the calendar. Member Williams at 8:30 and Fed Chair Powell at 9:55. One of the things that we talked about last week is that Fed Fund futures are factoring in between September to December. They're factoring in a 50 basis point cut, not each time, say 25, 25 into the end of the year. Fed Fund futures now have very slowly but consistently started to hike in a possibility for a July rate cut. Now, if the market's actually going to think this is real or possible, tomorrow, 8:30, most especially 9:55, I think all ears are going to be on Powell, waiting to see if what the Fed Fund futures have been suggesting is going to be possible, which is being closer to a 2% rate by the end of the year. Could we start to chip away at that come July, or should we just wait for September? Basically, the market wants some sort of confirmation that something is in the works. One thing that would be really interesting is if the Fed members would cite the fact that they were looking for not a prolonged tariff situation, and not only are we seeing a prolonged tariff situation, we're actually seeing it multiply. Could the Fed members say, look, you know what, this was something that we had built in our models, we have to recalculate it, recalibrate it, and yes, we're open to acting sooner or maybe more than initially thought, because it wasn't but about a week or two ago that the market was factoring in possibly January 2020 for the first cut. Very different world in just a matter of a few weeks. So if the market today is factoring in that possibility, which means euro strength and US dollar weakness, and Chairman Powell says, yeah, we're going to cut, we might see a little bit more strength. We might. But I think there's a very high likelihood that this market fades this area as it has before. And what I'd like to do is buy the FXE puts. I don't mind going out to September, but I'm perfectly fine with the July 19 FXE puts and a 107 strike. Now, just to give you some bearing for what that's going to run you, they're running at about 66 cents by 69 cents right now. Relatively illiquid. I mean, you might have to hit the bid to get your fill, meaning you might have to pay up to 67, 68, 69 cents. But this is a really risk control way of being short the FXE on the eve of and going into John Williams and Jerome Powell tomorrow. I mean, what if we get another long squeeze, meaning weakness on the US dollar, and a little bit more strength out of the Euro US, well, your option can absorb some of that. So in the meanwhile, let's go ahead and take a look at this Euro US. There's plenty that we're going to take a look at. We'll do all that and then some in the premium video, but keep this thing in your on your radar. I think this is going to be an interesting level once again for us to focus on, and being short Euro has really been the gift that keeps on giving. I'll see you in the next update.